that's business practices. Can they come in and show you how they run their business? Is there visibility to you as the client? All of those good things. So these are just some high-level things to think about. Finally, don't try this at home. Okay? Get a trusted advisor, someone who understands your industry and your business, has IT expertise, the right skill sets for your type of applications, can create the right IT solution for your business, because that's what you're creating. It's a solution. Okay, it's not technology. You're coming up with a solution. And they have to work with you. Finally, let you focus on what matters most to you. That's your business. Thank you. Russ.
So, I mean, you see a lot of hype coming out of the telcos about clouds. What are your thoughts there? Would you trust them to be a cloud provider?
It all depends. You're gonna make me dance a little bit, huh? You know, it's not so much are they a telco provider. As I shared with you, my roots are telco, 11 years in it. It all depends. The problem is with telcos in a lot of cases, most of those folks, they know voice communications, okay? When you get into data communications, at least when I was in the phone company, that was the F troop, okay? Those are the guys over in that back room over there, and now it's kind of coming to prominence. Now, if you think about telcos, and I'll have to give an example from the States, unfortunately, but if you look at, Sprint's wireline business, I'm trying to think of their name, not Clearwire. But anyway, they've been on a buying spree. They bought Savvis. So they bought somebody who's in the IT infrastructure business and brought that in. If you've got somebody like that, then maybe it's worth doing it. But if it's just a bunch of telco guys, okay, until I did a stint in the IT business, I really didn't know IT, to be honest with you. I think twice. That's just my personal opinion. That's not Marlabs' opinion.
One other question.
Sure.
In the energy sector, have you seen anybody deploy like remote operations type stuff?
For us, we haven't done a whole lot in energy per se, other than, I guess if you call gas. In fact, right across the street's one of our customers, TransAlta, so we do stuff with them. So more utility oriented, okay, as opposed to what I like to say hardcore energy, oil and gas and drilling for it and bringing it up. In our research, we've seen some. It's starting to get there. One of the things, and it kind of goes back to your presentation, Russ, when I was looking at it, and I think about some of the questions we've been asked lately, had to do with, well, do I need to put all those routers, firewalls, and everything on-prem and move them every time I move, or is that something I could put in the cloud? I don't want all the rest of that stuff. I just want to have my own network. And so those kind of things are starting to come up. On the, one last thing, on the risk management side, okay, the guys that play with that, no, they've been playing with some of the cloud stuff for a while. And I only know that because we're close to New York and the proximity there and the trading and some of the stuff that they do. And you hear about it more from the financial services, and then you look underneath the covers, and it has to do with energy. So that's a long-worded answer, but that's what we know.
What would you say the breakdown is today of the split between clients doing fully private cloud, hybrid cloud, and public with you guys? Is it more on the private side? Is that the lion's share of the business today?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what is that split? What if you had to
If I had to surmise, I would say that split, not what it is, but where it's going to go. It's going to probably be about 80-20 for private. The thing is, whether people like it or not, is that fiasco with Amazon, and there's been other ones, okay, kind of woke everybody up. So now all of a sudden, the idea of a cloud seems good, but you know what? I may do it, so we do a lot of off-prem stuff in our data center. but it's their own private cloud. And that's sort of the direction that we see things going right now. That could shift, you never know.
And just to be clear, because I think we struggle with this a lot at Dell, these definitions of private and public.
Yeah.
You know, to me, to simplify this, I think of these private clouds as, you know, let's take IT and give it to some professionals. That they basically run all of our applications, all of our systems. We just no longer have to have that connection in terms of like, you know, what processors, what memory sticks, everything's going on. It becomes this service.
Yeah, that's fair. The only difference is, if you listen to that, that sounds quite a bit like hosting, right? Okay, or outsourcing. The difference is, I'll go back to the one slide that I had that said, oh gosh, it was in the very early on, if you can find it. No, the 3 basics. Okay, you pay as you go. Yep, here we go. Boom, boom. One more click, one more. There you go. So if you go back to the basic definition on pay as you go, that's one of the difference, okay? And that's why we don't kind of do hosting. We like to work with folks, hey, if you want to do this, if you want to have virtual scalability and on demand, we'll work on that, because then we know they're clearly talking about the cloud. If they just want us to outsource and host it, we'll do that, but that's a different model. Then I want to get you into a 2 or 3 year contract, so on and so forth, and you're going to pay me regardless. This here, you're going to probably pay me a little bit, and then as things kind of spike up, you're going to do that. If things go down, they go down. That's sort of the difference.
You made an interesting point earlier that the long term, you don't outsource, you don't build in the cloud for cost savings. It's not going to be a cloud. You don't. But in the short term, you might, because you can avoid the capital investment. You made that point as well. In your experience, where do you see that break even? How many months or how many years out? Typically, your experience.
Well, you know, as a service provider, is probably not the best answer for me to make. But at least the way, I've got to do a little commercial. At least the way Marlabs does business, we like to be right up front. I think you'll see, just like on any lease, you know, that kind of concept model, after a while the break-even is going to get to the point where you're going to say, it's not about I'm saving money, okay? It's about I can't get these skill sets. My workforce is aging. The cost of these skill sets are too much. And oh, by the way, the predictability of my business isn't there. So with that, it's hard to come up with, here's the exact point that all of a sudden this makes sense. And there's some examples I can send you offline, whereas if you look at it on the surface, the cloud doesn't make sense. Then you dig in a little deeper and you look at the skill sets that are needed and all those other things, and it does make sense. So it's not a cut and dry. It's not a typical, oh, do this for 2 or 3 months and it's going to be okay.
Suppose you focus specifically around infrastructure as a service. Maybe that'll help you define the break. I'm here to help you.
That's what I say. Okay, I'm here to help you. Okay, you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't want to hip shoot. There's plenty of colleagues on my side of the business that'll throw numbers out there. I'm going to hold my ground and say it depends on each individual situation, and it depends on what you're trying to do with that. Sir.
When can we actually see or realize the true pay-as-you-go model? My argument is, if the service provider A meets the SLA, and if you want to move it to a different service provider, how easy you can port them overnight?
Yeah. There's a lot of folks out there that'll take you down the primrose path, and you'll be hooked into them, and you bring up a very good point. You can't move. It's hard. So what it really gets to is you can do it as fast as if your applications are standardized, if you have all of your integration points, APIs, okay, interfaces, well documented, then you can move. You're not going to move overnight.